Hello, welcome back to the Creative's Cauldron. Today we have an exciting show set up for you. My name is Holly Marie Phillippe. I'm joined by my co-host.
And I'm Steven Zimmer.
And we'll be right back
To talk to you today about how you can use different mediums to build revenue channels as a creator. Welcome back, and here we are in episode number 8.
already.
Yes, already. making progress. Thank you very much for the comments, Lori Ward and Jennifer Malone Wright last week on the episode page. Really appreciated that. And that was a really fun episode to do.
Keep them coming, guys.
Yeah, keep them coming. And today, we've got a great featured independent creative, and we've got a great topic. It might seem another little dry topic at first, but this is one that all creatives can
have
benefit
fun with
from.
this.
Because last week we talked about things that are problematic for creatives with all the changes big sites make. Today, it gets positive, because we get to tell you about one of the great advantages that creatives have. And might get a little wonky with some of my terminology here, but we're going to have a fun discussion.
Yeah, it's going to be a little upbeat today.
But, what we're going to talk about is how creatives can use different mediums and create different revenue channels with their work.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is, this is where I get a little wonky, creatives have a scalable type of business afforded to them. And what I mean by that is all the work goes into creating a book or a piece of art or a film, but once that is put out there, it is there to sell tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, and the cost beyond that for the copies and the ways in which the revenue is capitalized is incremental. So that's what we call like a scalable business model. And you can look that up, and it's something that is from one of those little economics 101 kind of classes. But it's really cool because, like for instance, for me as an author, when I create a book, I've got, the print book. I've got the ebook has a Kindle edition, a Kobo edition, a Nook edition, and then also you can create it as an audiobook edition.
Audiobook, yeah.
And you can also take it in other forms. I mean, I could eventually create a graphic novel version. I can create things like that.
Comics, you can do spin-offs and things like that, yes.
But what happens is you start creating all these different streams.
Television shows.
Yeah, television shows, yes. But it's wonderful because you can use different mediums to create all these different streams.
Yeah.
And I think, with artists, some of the artists that we've featured on the show, I mean, you can take a single piece of art and you can take it, talk about canvas prints. You can talk about selling the original, of course, but then, you can...
and then doing all the prints to digitize it.
Yeah, you can make all sorts, you can put on T-shirts. I mean, you can take that single art image and put on all kinds of different...
merchandise.
Products and merchandise and things like that. And it's fascinating.
It increases your revenue streams. It adds to it. You're not just got one thing. You've got, this one thing stemmed all this other stuff. It's like branches on a tree. You have your one piece of art, but then you've got all these branches you can go. And that's revenue streams just from that one piece. So don't, box yourself in just thinking, oh, I've only got this book, physically. No, gosh, you can do audio, you can do there's so many different things. And just like with musicians, if you're a musician,
oh, yes.
This is a great time.
Fun.
Yeah, I mean, you've got, we'll talk about Steven's favorite in a minute.
Oh, yes.
You used to have cassettes, which cassettes are actually cycling back in.
Believe it or not.
There
actually has been increased demand for cassette production.
The sound is wonky, and it's not as good as like a...
Terrible.
It's not as good as the CD, though. But, you've got CD, and then you got digital, which is a whole other thing. Yeah. But then you've got Steven's favorite, which is vinyl.
Vinyl. Get vinyl. It's the best.
But you've got all these different, mediums that you can put all this on and, share it in all different ways.
Streaming, downloads, vinyl, not now even cassette. I mean, it's just crazy how many ways in which, you can capitalize as a musician with your work these days.
And you can branch out and, get a hold of producers or directors and actually, become a part of a series and have your, song featured on television or the big screen, or there's just so many different ways you can go with it.
Yeah, there's just so many ways. And the thing is that all the really, really successful creatives, the ones that are really doing well, going around giving speeches and things like that, they'll talk about that, how you have to look at it in that kind of vein. When you look at it, you don't look at it just like as an author. I'll talk as an author. You don't look at it as just your ebook version.
Right.
You look at it as your Kindle version, your Kobo version, your iTunes, your your Smashwords version. Each of those versions is its own stream.
Right.
And if you're an artist, you take your single image, and you have your limited edition prints here. You have a more commercialized style of print here. You have maybe some kind of digital way of using it here, and you have then you have anything other merchandising like T-shirts or even buttons, little lower cost revenue streams that you can develop, and from a single piece of art. I mean, you got to look at that and really think about that when you're putting together your plan as a creative, because if you build up each of those streams and you start getting multiple things, developing multiple streams, eventually you can get that's where the scalability kind of factor comes in, and eventually it'll help you hopefully make a living at doing this kind of thing.
Right.
Which is what we all want to do, right? So
that is exactly what we all want to do. But that gets us on to our featured guest.
Featured independent creative. Yes. And I am very excited about this week's guest. So our featured independent creative this week is Jocqueline Protho of Bookin Around Town and the Audio Flow podcasts.
Yes. Hi, Jacques.
Hi, Jacques.
She's a lot of fun.
Yes, very much
Very talented individual. We actually met because she requested to do an interview with Stephen.
I actually was a guest on her podcast during the tour for my Thunder Horizon novel, Radiant Valkyrie novel. And that's where we first met, was doing that interview.
The podcast, yeah.
And I remember she just made me feel comfortable at once. She was so engaging, so fun, easy to talk to. I mean, time just went by in like seconds. I mean, we did a long interview, and it just blew right by. I had such a good time. And by the end, I had the feeling like, hey, I've got a new friend. I mean, when you have somebody like that, that is a great interviewer. And, I mean, I'm just talking as a creative. I mean, she just did everything right. I mean, just professionals could be. I mean, everything about setting up and scheduling was just done right, and just a lot
of fun.
Such a wonderful personality, and
perfect.
Unfortunately, it worked out that she's actually able to go to Imaginarium this past year.
Yeah, she didn't know about it, and I was like, "Oh, Jacques, you would be perfect. You come to Imaginarium, interview some people. You've got your whole." field there, you've got authors and artists and editors and audio people. So I said, have at it. So yeah, she had a lot of fun at Imaginarium.
Yeah, and everybody, I mean, of course, everybody loved her. Of course.
Yeah, Shock's a lot of fun.
So we're hoping that she puts Imaginarium as a yearly stop on her.
I believe she'll come again.
I hope she does. But let's talk a little bit about what she does, because we talked earlier about how when you're creating different streams, one of the big options for a whole new stream that's becoming stronger and stronger for authors is
the
audiobooks. And Jacques, of course, a few days ago, she celebrated her 1-year anniversary for Bookin Around Town, which is her podcast that interviews authors. And then the Audio Flow focuses more upon the audiobook world, the
narrators and authors.
And she does, and the Audio Flow is also the home where actually you can go to Jacques for casting services if you're doing an audiobook. And she knows all about audiobooks, and the podcast is about it. And I believe it's Featured Voices is a show that she does, a podcast show that she does, where she has the narrators featured as well, and authors,
so you can, get a listen, get a feel
sense of them, and their personalities and so forth. And but casting, of course, is critical when doing an audiobook, and it's just it's so cool. And I should mention too, the Audio Flow in early January will also be experiencing its first anniversary as well. Yes, so congratulations, Jacques.
Congratulations.
You have two anniversaries to celebrate. The one just from a few days ago and one coming right up. So, but she is definitely looks like she is driving on the audio podcasting and audiobook front.
And what stemmed this, where born from is her love of podcasts. She loves podcasts, and she loves audiobooks because she said she could be cleaning or doing other things and killing two birds with one stone, listening to audiobooks too. So, she gets both of her loves put together and gets to do it for, an occupation, which is fantastic.
And then she does have a background in broadcast journalism.
Yeah, many years.
So she took her, her foundation in terms of her education and training, combined it with her passion.
Yep.
And is, now a creative that's doing something that she loves. And, more power to her and doing it well, doing it beautifully. And
so if you have a book and you have a quirky character, or you have, you want this accent or that, just get a hold of Jacques and she will hook you right up, because she has a long list, and they do flat rates and they also do adjusted. Depending on what, if you want package deals, because they also do promotions. They will also market and promote your audiobook for you. They get it all ready and everything, and then it's ready to go live when you get it. So they do all the work for you.
Yeah, and definitely I highly recommend it, because the audiobook world is growing.
Big time.
It's a definite format, and as we were talking earlier, it creates yet another scalable revenue stream for you, because once your audiobook has been developed and is marketed, again, just like ebooks, just like print, you can sell copies tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. So it's a scalable asset.
Long after you're gone. They keep selling. Once they're there, they're there. It's endless.
And see, that's the big advantage. It's much more than something that just has a one-time sale. And that's something that creatives may not be thinking about, is actually the business model that we have as creatives is hugely advantageous. And it's something that a lot of investors love, that type of model. And so it's a good one to be in. And so there are positives to being a creative. It's not all somber, as we were talking about in some of the issues in episode 7. Sometimes there are very good things and strengths about being a creative, and this is definitely one of them.
Yes.
So remember that word, scalability.
And it's fun.
Yes.
I mean, think about it. When we were children, how we loved to listen to, people tell stories. Or I'm going to date myself, but we used to have books on vinyl.
On vinyl. The best format of all, of course.
My little record player, and we had to get our books out, and you'd put your little record on, and it would read along with the book. Yeah. That was fantastic. And then they eventually got cassettes that did that. But, yeah, I think I still have some of my old ones somewhere. But, yeah, that was fun.
So we've already shown you Jacques' website, so we definitely encourage you to go.
Yes, check her out.
Yeah, check her out. Follow her on her social media channels. Check her podcasts out, because they're fantastic.
Oh, they're fun. They're very entertaining. And she has interviewed some big guests.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, New York Times best-selling authors and such. Yeah, she's got some big names on there that she's interviewed.
And then she's kind enough to let a guy like me on her show, too. So she takes care of us little guys, too.
But I like that she could be lighthearted and it's all serious at the same time. So, she's so perfect with doing that, you know. And she gets them talking in subtle conversations, or peeks into their life, or like their favorite foods, or their favorite this or that.
Oh, yes.
It's a lot of fun.
It is.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So we hope you come away from this with appreciation for developing different revenue streams as a creative, and the fact that you have a strength as a creative with scalability. And of course, we have a great example of a creative who's developing a whole stream of that with Jacques and her audiobook and podcasting world. And
if you plan on doing this more than just a hobby, actually an occupation, full-time or part-time, you have to have different revenue streams. The biggest people in the business don't make it just by one thing. They have many different streams of income.
They develop a tree of many branches.
Yes, you have to have many branches to be successful.
Yeah, it's a plan. It's a plan.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And there are some people that do succeed off a couple things, but in most cases, this is definitely the case.
Yeah.
So I hope you've enjoyed this week's show, and definitely follow us on Facebook, and also follow us on Twitter, of course. And like the show, definitely give us a like, and subscribe. And comment, because we want your feedback, and we want to develop good content for you, and make it fun, and make it understandable. Some of the terminology that we have, and we'll be
give us some topics.
Yeah, give us some topics. Give us some topics.
What you want to hear us talk about.
So we'll see you next week for episode 9. So take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.